night before Easter, March 31st, 2018, a young teenager was found in the street under a parking garage. Her death was ruled a suicide, but evidence shows she didn't jump. No investigation was ever done. This is the story of Paula Turkovich. Hello, happy Friday. This is episode 37. This is going to be a different episode. I'm venturing out to New York for this, and I have a guest. I am going to be talking to Kathleen Turkovich about her daughter, Paula. Paula was 18 years old. The night before Easter, she had dinner with her family, was in great spirits, and an hour after she left her home, she was deceased. No investigation was done. They said it was a suicide. Her car was found in another county over an hour away at a train station. Supposedly, they're saying she took a train back to the county that she lives in, and jumped off the 6th floor of a parking garage to her death. Kathleen was not able to view her body. This case has been covered up horribly. There were witnesses. Kathleen cannot talk to any of the witnesses. This was shut down right after it happened. Paula would not have committed suicide. She was murdered. Please listen to this episode. This case needs to be talked about. So my interview with Kathleen follows. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Kathleen. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm just fine. I'm so glad this is working because I've never had anybody talk to me on my podcast before.
Oh, wow.
So I hope you can hear me. Yo, you're welcome. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfect.
Oh, good. Because I live out in the country and sometimes our signal doesn't work very well. So we're not recording yet. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Very good.
Oh, wait, you know what? We are recording.
Oh, okay.
It started recording automatically. I didn't know. See, I'm kind of new to this too. So.
Great. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. This is episode 37. And it is about your daughter, Paula. And I just wanted to, when I saw you talk on a podcast called Locating the Lost, and it was on YouTube. And if anyone's listening, it's season 4, episode 2, and it's a very good YouTube episode, and it's also on like anywhere you get your podcast. But when I heard the story, it just really broke my heart. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad you contacted me because I have not heard about this.
Wow. No, not many have.
No, I have not heard about this. Now, you're in New York, is that right?
Right. Okay. Long Island.
Long Island. Okay.
Right.
Nice.
Suffolk County.
Okay. I kind of wanted to just talk about your daughter and what happened. Like, maybe you can go ahead and just let us know about her. What was her plans after high school? And I kind of want to talk about the night that she left the house on March 31st, 2018. So if you want to go ahead and just let us know a little bit about Paula and her plans, what she was going to do after high school, and then basically what happened the night before she left the house that night. Maybe if you just want to kind of let us know a little bit. You can go ahead and talk. Okay, as I say, you can go ahead and talk anytime you want.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I don't want to interrupt you. Absolutely. My daughter Paula Marie Turkovich was my pride and joy. She never gave me a day of trouble.
Yeah.
She was beautiful inside and out. Was an honor student. Um, straight A's, very intelligent. Um, really intelligent. She was also very athletic. She was a very competitive swimmer. She was on a swimming team that swam 7 days a week for 3 hours a day. And her stroke was backstroke. Uh, and nobody could beat her.
Yeah.
She was phenomenal. I mean, she was 5'8", 120 pounds, and all muscle. And when she got in the water, she flew. And I believe she would have gotten, you know, she made JV too. She made the school team. But before the school team, she was on the very competitive Farmingdale swim team, and they really worked them. But she would come out of the water and beat all the boys and whatnot, and very impressive.
Wow.
Yeah, yes, unbelievable. Um, and yes, she told me, she always came home, studied for hours in her room, like upon hours. She was very, she loved to write, reading and writing was her passion. Um, and she wanted to become a journalist. Uh,
Oh, that's awesome.
yes, and
Yes.
she was really excited about it. And she told me, like, one night how she planned to be in charge of, like, the whole building, run the whole, run the whole business and do everything. And
Mhm.
she could. She was like on top of everything. She was like a little bit, not a perfect, well, she was a bit of a perfectionist, like with, ha- she put her heart and soul into everything she did in a great way, being
Yeah.
like, you know, and anyway, she got accepted to Malloy College, Delphi College. She got accepted to the University of Florida, of Jacksonville, and that's where she really wanted to go. And that's where she told me, and she would kid around with me because her and I were close. And she would say, "Mommy, I'm going to join the sorority so I can drink some beer." And giggle,
Yeah.
and she had two dimples, and both her dimples would turn a little red, and ah, she was beautiful. Oh my God. Yeah, she really, like, she did lose her father, 5 years prior, and everybody, you know, was trying to say she took her life because of her father. You
Oh.
know, she did regular grieving, process
Mhm.
of losing her father to GBM and brain cancer. Um, but it was 5 years later, and Paula reminded me of my dad. Very strong mind. My dad was, believe it or not, he was a retired New York City sergeant. Uh,
Oh.
yeah, and he very, very uh, smart, very strong mind. Where she was ready to move on, move forward, and go on with her life. Um, she had no intentions of taking her life. As a mother, I
Hmm.
know in my heart and my soul that um, somebody was after her. She was really pretty. She was really smart. Um, I believe that there were people jealous of her, but I believe that I think it was a man who did this, and I believe that he knew somebody, and this person got away with what he got away with because he knew somebody um, in the police department. Um, you know, I hmm, it's so hard for me to
Yeah, I'm
explain
sure.
what
Um,
everything, but I know she was that night. Everything was wrong. I,
oh, okay.
all right, that the night she left. I mean, she worked a full day at work. Everything was good, you know. I mean, with her, I mean, I'm talking about everything was wrong with the way the death was handled.
Oh, oh
I'm
yeah,
sorry, I kind
that's
of
okay.
went
You're
off the top, went
yeah.
off. But Paula worked at meat farms. It was like a food as a cashier, and I don't know. She was getting bullied there by some girl. Um, I don't know if that had anything to do with her death, but that was happening too. Um, the night my daughter died, it was a Saturday night, March 31st. It was the night before Easter. And Paula um was at work, and it was time for her to be picked up. So I clearly remember I was making potato tots and black bean burgers that Paula loved. So Kathleen, my other daughter, and I were debating who was picking up Paula. So it was left that my daughter Kathleen would go pick up Paula. And I would, finish making dinner. Um, I asked Kathleen, when you went to pick up Paula, um, how was Paula? And she, my daughter said she seemed to be like when anxious to be out of the store, um, like when I went to pick her up a lot, she would always be a little anxious and nervous to for me to pick her up on time. Like she almost, I think, felt that somebody was following her or somebody was after her. She would call me like if I was like 1 minute late. Um, and all right, so that night, my daughter Kathleen picked her up. And she was waiting in the parking lot. Then Paula and her went to CVS pharmacy because Paula had to pick up an antibiotic for she had an so she picked up an antibiotic, and then they went to Dunkin' Donuts. And Paula had some a cup of coffee. And then they came home, and then Paula, you know, I was making dinner. She seemed to be, she was in a good mood. She wanted to know where we were going for Easter, whose family. Uh, She was eating potato tots, and you know, I did notice though she kept looking at the time on the stove.
Oh,
Um, yeah, and she never really did that, except for in the morning when we were, uh, getting ready for. I would drive her before we would go to Starbucks, and I would drive her to school. Um, but she was concerned about the time, and she never would be like that on a regular night. Um, and then she said she was gonna have a black bean burger, and then she never did. Like she was in a hurry. And she told me, she asked me, can I go to a friend's house? And I was leery about it because the girl that she asked me to go to, I wasn't like crazy about the girl, and I loved all Paula's friends, especially when we lived in Levittown in Nassau County. She had a lot of friends, and I loved them all. They were all good, good friends to. But this one particular girl I didn't care for. Um, anyway, I was gonna drive her, and then my daughter Kathleen was gonna drive her, but she didn't want us to drive her. So unfortunately, very unfortunately, I let her go. Take my car. Um, she took my car now, and she never made it to the girl's house that she was going
oh,
to.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
She never made it, and the girl never reached out to me that night. Neither did she ever reach it. And then she never reached out to me ever
Wow.
again. Right. So that made me really suspicious of her. And I had some words with her mother, you know, like she was in defense of her daughter, but I said, well, why wouldn't she ever come around and say sorry, or what do you think happened to Paula, or anything? Um, and then now here is the weirdest part of all. Paula left the house at 7:30, and she was pronounced dead at 8:31
Okay.
p.m. All right. So
Okay.
we're talking an hour.
Yeah.
That is quick. Um, and they found her body in Mineola, which is Nassau County, and that is about a 45-minute to an hour ride. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. And they found my car at the Long Island Railroad in Ronkonkoma. Um, they found it, and um, it was parked illegally, which Paula wanted to park the car illegally. She didn't do anything like that. She was like nervous to do anything like that.
Yeah.
Uh, so that was weird. And the car was never impounded for any um fingerprints or anything. There was no investigation. They closed the case out. Uh, that night, they notified me. I found, I went out looking for her, um, and my other daughter, and then we found a card on our door at like 11 o'clock. No, 10 o'clock. I'm sorry, at night.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Nassau County Department of Homicide, and I was hysterical. Naturally, I ran to my sister Kelly's house, and uh, I never, I never got to identify Paula's body that night either, which I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand why I couldn't come to identify her body. Um, and then I had to wait until the next day. And then Paula was behind a glass window. Uh, and she was all covered, and she looked beautiful. She looked like an angel. I mean,
Yeah.
and I was told by the detective that she was splattered on the ground.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, I was really hurt by
Yeah.
the detective's wording, you know, because I had asked him, do you have any footage of my daughter? Because they said she jumped from the sixth um, floor of the medical pavilion, 200 Old Country Road in Mineola, the parking garage.
Okay.
All right, so I said, okay, well, do you have any footage of my daughter roof, on the roof there? And he said, no, because your daughter set off the alarm and blocked the camera. Uh,
Oh
and
no.
I said, what?
Yeah, that don't sound right at all.
No,
No.
no, not at all. Nobody could believe it. Even her girlfriend went up, and one day she had a doctor's appointment over there. She went up there, made a TikTok showing where the cameras were located and saying this is for Paula Turkovich, that this is impossible. They had to be able to see Paula if Paula was ever up there, which I believe Paula never was up there.
Yeah.
She got killed in Suffolk County, and somebody placed her body
Well, yeah, because
in
it wouldn't.
Nassau.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But
No, no.
wouldn't it show her up there before the cameras got blocked? If she was, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That does
Absolutely.
not sound right at all. Yeah.
No,
No.
no, it doesn't. And why would she, um, a, a fire, a fire alarm? Like, how could she, pull the fire alarm, and how could that block a camera?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't understand that at
mm,
all.
no, it didn't
No.
make any sense at all
Mm-mm.
to me. So then I said to the detective, I said, well, is there any other footage? And then that's when he said to me, well, Mrs. Turkovich, would you like to see your daughter splattered on the ground?
Oh no.
Yeah. And I was like,
Oh,
yes, I would.
yeah.
I absolutely would. Um, and then, nope, he told me no. Um, I don't think it's a good idea. And I'm like, well, I'm her mother. I think I want to see my daughter.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why he was being so difficult. And especially when I saw her the next day, like an angel, her head was intact to her body. We had an open casket um at the wake, the whole entire um funeral. I mean the wake. Um the casket was open. Um, so I don't know what he meant by
No.
splattered. That was really
Yeah.
horrific, to
Yeah,
say.
that almost sounds like he wanted you to say, "No, I don't wanna see that," and then you wouldn't have seen,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Mhm. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know. Um, And then I also asked him about were there any witnesses, and he told me, yes, there was one witness. He heard your daughter Paula yelling and screaming, and I said, well, what was my daughter yelling and screaming? And he said, oh, I don't know. He couldn't make it out. And then he said right away he changed it to, oh no, actually there wasn't one, but there were several witnesses. I'm like, how do you go from one to several
Yeah.
like that quickly?
Mm-hmm.
I was really dumbfounded, and I said, "Well, can I talk to any of the witnesses?" And he said, "No." And I'm like, "Well, why?"
Yeah.
And he had no answer. No, they don't want to speak to you. Um, and then I also heard that two nurses did see my daughter. Um, and at what point and at what where I don't know, but my older daughter was told by a detective that there were two nurses that saw my daughter but were never allowed to speak about it.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Um, are you able, do you know like the names of any of the witnesses, like who they are or how you can contact them?
I wish to God I only know the detective's name, and he
Mm-hmm.
retired.
No.
But I do know the other detective that was with him that night that went to my daughter, that was what covered my daughter's case. But
Yeah.
the one cop that arrived to the scene of my daughter, the very first cop that went to Paula, I know he did not do any like any investigation. Like, he didn't check underneath her fingernails, he didn't do any nail clippings. Um and if he would have, um he would have had all the answers right there, because
Oh.
on my daughter's autopsy report, I have it, and it said that my daughter Paula fought back for her life, because on both of her hands, on the tops of both of her hands, she had all scratch marks, um, on the top, yeah, on the top parts of both of her hands, and it was self defense. You know, she
Mm-hmm.
fought. She was for her life. Um,
So she had
so,
defensive wounds, and she had defensive wounds, and they didn't even
hmm,
you didn't even do anything about that at all.
exactly.
Mm.
And the cause of her death was blunt force trauma. Um, and I spoke to a retired detective, and he told me every homicide case he did, on the autopsy report, that it was always blunt force trauma, meaning battered,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah, that's usually when someone hits you over the head or beats you.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I believe happened to my daughter.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what it sounds like.
Mhm. And for her to have gone, like, she left the house that, you know, 7:30, and then I know that she did talk to her friend, 'cause, uh, just recently I found out, that there was a text, from her friend that she spoke to at 10 to 8. So she was still alive at 10 to 8. And
Mm.
the text to her girlfriend said that how she wanted to get together with her friend, how she missed her, and she wanted to get together with her real soon. Now, who writes that? If they're gonna go
Yeah.
kill themselves, God Almighty in heaven knows they're not gonna
Mm-mm.
write. They want to get together with that person um, real soon. You know.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, she did. It doesn't sound like this is a person that would commit suicide. I mean,
no,
she had future
no,
plans, and this just
right.
doesn't sound like a suicide at all.
Yeah, and also they said, oh, the suicide letter that they so called found that was ripped out of her notebook, um,
Mm-mm.
out of her journal. She had Paula had like I cannot tell you how many journals like she had with homework, and that particular page that she had written was from a book called Reconstructing Amelia. Um, and there was a quote, and it was in quotation marks. The quote, I have it, but it was like a big long quote. Um, and nobody would write that. And the letter, it wasn't a letter, but because it didn't say to mom,
Mm.
it wasn't addressed to anybody, it
Yeah.
didn't say love Paula. It wasn't, it something really wrong. I know, I think in my heart that, if, I don't know, somebody was planning on killing her for a while. I don't know, like the job that she worked, they wouldn't let me look at the cameras there either. I don't know if somebody came into the store that day and had a
Um, what is that?
um
The book you just were talking about. Could you tell us
um
a little bit of what that is about?
sure. It's called Reconstructing Amelia.
Okay.
Okay, and it's about, I know I go quickly.
Hmm.
It's really important what the book is about. Okay, now in the book, the girl, the mother gets a phone call that her daughter jumped off the building and she's dead. Okay,
Mm.
but in reality, the the girl was pushed,
Okay.
um, and somebody murdered her. Somebody killed her.
Okay. So that was the quote that quote was from that book.
Right. It was
Okay.
from that
Okay.
book.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, it I don't know. I mean, and it was ripped out of her, like, the journal composition
Mhm.
notebook.
And where was this note found?
It was found, pocketbook.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I I mean, I just don't and all of it was about the whole story
Mm.
of, reconstructing Amelia and the whole about the whole story. And the mother gets the phone call and thinks, she took her life, but in reality, somebody had uh, murdered her.
Yeah.
She was murdered. Um, so I mean, I don't. My daughter, I mean, was highly, like I said, very intelligent. I don't. Um, I don't. I don't know if um I can't figure that part out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um but I just don't know why they stopped there with the investigation and not going further with it to, with anybody, with the witnesses, the footage, any of anything,
Right.
and
And
then
I was gonna say,
oh
what about her? Oh, sorry. What
no,
about her? The clothes that she had on. I know there was something going on with that too.
right, that I was just going to
Okay.
say,
Okay.
okay, so I know, the clothes were actually given back to me in a brown bag, um, and, eh, those clothes were, like, they were covered and, embedded, like, with dirt and mud and dried out blood and
Mm.
even hair, like,
Oh my
looked
God.
like my daughter's hair.
Yeah.
Um, and then the detective denied that he gave it back to me. So, I was I was like, "What do you," I said, "No, you give it back to me." He said, "No, I would never give, the clothes back to you." So I was so confused because I he gave me the bag back, that night, um, along with her jewelry, um, and then there was, an Adidas sweatshirt that she had on over her clothes, and that night, she had that on, and, that got washed, uh, and the, um my daughter called about, um my daughter called and found out that that was washed in the washing machine, and I
Yeah.
don't understand that at all because all
No.
the evidence would be there.
Right. So it sounds like they were wanting to wash the
The
evidence away.
Right, the medical coroner was told by the police that she was told to wash the Adidas
Mm.
sweatshirt. I
No,
I
that
was
that does not sound.
shocked.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's
What?
okay. You're
I
fine.
oh, I couldn't hear you. What?
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, you
Yeah.
usually don't wash anything with
No.
evidence, because of evidence, and that just doesn't sound right at all.
No. Not at all.
Mm.
I don't understand, but um that's what she said she was told and she washed it.
Wow.
Uh, uh,
Uh, I was going to, well, I think that they really need to open the investigation. I don't understand why they would close it so quick if they weren't covering something up, you know.
right.
Um,
That mm,
it's horrible. I mean, when I saw your interview on YouTube, I just can't get over this.
no.
Um,
Mhm.
uh, what else? It seemed like I was going to ask you. Have you, like, I know you said something about, I wasn't sure if you contacted a lawyer or contacted somebody about the opening of the investigation or anything.
Well, unfortunately, I'm very um I was praying that somebody would come through and try to take on the case for me, you
Hmm.
know, just out of having a heart, but that hasn't happened. Um, right now, I can't afford an attorney. I would,
Right.
but if I could, I would do it in a heartbeat. Um, but I I wish to God that if anybody would a retired detective would ever help me, you know,
Right.
because I know they would find something that was not, done right. Um, and I truly do believe that somebody had to be covering up for somebody in order for all this not to be taken. y- well, nothing was done right.
Right.
When I saw Paula the next day, uh, she was like somebody had taken a garden hose and squirted her down with. She was stopping wet, and then and she was all like she had long blonde hair, and they took a brush and they brushed her hair all the way back, and it was just like dripping wet, like.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think they like she had mud on her and dirt.
Mm-hmm.
So if she jumped from that building there was no dirt and mud.
Right.
That so
Yeah.
but if somebody took her to a dirt road and like I think they did, and put
Mm-hmm.
her in in the car, and she was on a dirt road, and the clothes that I had gotten back were full of dirt and mud and the holes. The clothes had all tears and rips and holes, and I'm like,
Oh my
she
God.
fought for back. I have it on
Yeah.
my Facebook page. The clothes were ripped and like really bad, like she was attacked. Um, yeah, and that she had mud all over her. So maybe I believe they hosed it down from all the mud and dirt and blood.
And
Um,
there was no evidence. Like they drove. Okay, the car was found at a train station, and she did not. There was no evidence saying she boarded a train. There was no train ticket or anything.
no, that
No,
too. There was
no,
no evidence that the train, uh, there was no train
oh my God,
ticket bought.
no. So she was supposed to take a train and then
Go
back
to
and jump off of the parking garage.
right, go there and jump
That,
off a
yeah,
parking garage.
that doesn't make any sense at all.
No,
No. And you said
no,
that was in a totally different county, wasn't it? Where the train station was.
right. That
Okay.
was Nassau County,
Oh my
right.
gosh. I did.
Uh,
Oh, when you were talking about the Facebook page, I wanted to let everybody know what that was. It's
right.
just.
Um,
I want to say. Go ahead and
well,
give.
there, I have one justice for Paula,
Okay.
and then I just have my regular Facebook, but it's dedicated to Paula.
Okay.
Paula. It's under Kathleen. My name, Kathleen.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, Clendenin Turkovich,
Okay. Okay. Because I'm
and
part of the. Yeah, I'm on the Justice for Paula Facebook page, and there's a lot of good things on there about it, about this whole case. So
right.
I wanted to let people know what that was and that they can go to it. And
Thank you.
yes, and there's also a petition on change.org.
Right,
Right.
that I have to take down
Okay.
because what happened was I tried to get them to open the case,
Mm.
them meaning Nassau County Police Department, um, and they wouldn't.
Oh, okay.
Um, so that failed, and I have to try something else. And
Okay.
my only, you the only thing I think that will work at this point is a private detective.
Right.
Um, and other than, I can't. I got a million people to sign it, but
Hmm.
and I tried to ask them to reopen it, but they refused, and they were pretty nasty about it. And in my eyes, when you're talking to a mother who lost a child, if you're nasty about something, you're usually trying to cover something up. And
Yes.
I didn't
Hmm.
appreciate it. And my brother went with me, who's a retired New York City sergeant. Um, th- I don't know. They didn't show me like the time of day. I was really hurt. Um,
Well, if there's a way, like, people could write in, email them or anything, because I would definitely do that. I would do all I could. I would
that's
email
what my
them.
girlfriend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
yes,
because you can
yes,
get people to email them and let them know to reopen this case. And if you get enough people, like,
right,
calling or emailing, or whatever. But if you if you end up like opening like maybe a GoFundMe or something like that, people could give to that, which would help you like with any private detective fees or uh, anything like that. That's also a good idea if you ever do anything like that.
right.
Um,
Thank you.
oh, you're welcome. So yeah, because there's a lot of people, and I know I have a lot of different podcasts on who follow me on Instagram, and
Right.
they would also become aware of this case too, and
Oh,
maybe we can get this story out, so that people will hear about it.
thank
Because
you.
this is ridiculous. I mean, it's just I just can't get over this. I
Because
just can't.
yeah, they
Oh,
kept it so quiet.
yeah,
That's
right.
what it was. Like they didn't want anyone to know about it. Like my friends on Facebook said, it's like she's like gag. It's called a gag. When the nurses are not allowed to
Oh yeah,
speak,
gag
but
order.
that's only during a time when the case is open. If they're proceeding with
Right.
um they didn't even touch Paula's case. And you know my daughter, she really was looking forward to her life. And I know, as a mother, when something is so wrong, and I know, yeah, if stopped her on the road, that's what I believe.
Yeah,
Um, um,
something. Yeah, something's
yeah,
not right.
absolutely.
Um, and if you want, like, I only found a couple pictures, but if you want me to like show pictures on my Instagram and Facebook page and all that, maybe you can send me some pictures and I can put up
Oh,
to
definitely.
promote the episode, so people, and let people know, what's going on with it. Because
Um,
I always post photos on my Instagram and Facebook page, so that'll
oh,
help too.
thank you. I have a
Oh,
million
you're welcome.
pictures of Paula.
Yeah,
Paula was my life,
yeah,
my
she's.
sunshine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in her pictures, you can tell she's happy. She just looks so happy.
Yeah, she had a
It's
heart
just
of
horribly.
gold.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
she really
Oh,
she was learning to drive, and she drove better than me. She was getting a lot of money too coming towards
hmm
her. That was another thing. A lot of money was coming.
yeah. And how old was she? Had she graduated high school yet? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello.
Hi. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It cut
I'm
off. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
I got a phone call and I didn't want to take the phone call. I
Oh,
can't believe it. I
that's
apologize.
okay. That's okay. All I got to do is add this to the other recording, so we're good.
Oh,
That's okay. You're fine.
I'm
I
sorry.
thought it. I thought there was a time limit and it cut off at 45 minutes. So,
Oh, oh,
but I see. So the phone call. That's okay. You're fine. I just
oh,
wanted to
wow.
go ahead. That's okay. I just wanted to go ahead and ask if there's anything else you want to add to the episode. Anything that you wanted to talk about that maybe we forgot.
Um, just that my daughter Paula was coming
Hmm.
into a lot of money that um she was looking forward to. Um, she was probably going to buy a car with it. Um, so she had plenty to look forward to. Going to college, buying a new car,
Hmm.
um, and also that her nephew is a model, and she wanted to do modeling, and he was going to take her into Manhattan and show her the ropes to
Oh,
become a
nice.
model.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was happy and
Oh my God.
excited. She had just turned 18 in February, February 11th.
That's
And
okay.
then
Yeah, that was the last thing I asked you was I wasn't sure how old she was. So she just turned 18.
right, 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
February 11th, and then
Okay.
March was
Oh,
passed away.
uh, uh,
I
my
Yep.
heart goes out to you. Um,
Thank you for
just
having
this
me.
is I mean, oh, definitely. I'm so glad you contacted me, and I'm so glad you were willing to talk on the podcast. Um,
Oh,
but
definitely.
and I also would like to have future episodes with any updates on this. And
Oh,
I'm
definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So, but we'll keep in touch, and I will keep sharing this and
Oh,
seeing if
thank
I
you.
could definitely like email anybody that can help with this. And if there's anybody out there listening, again, the Facebook page is Justice for Paula, and last name is Turkovich. Is that correct? Is that how you pronounce it?
Correct. And
Okay,
um, my Facebook goes under Turkovich, and Clendenin was my
okay,
maiden name, but I have it open to the public.
okay, okay. So that'll be. Seemed like there was something else I was gonna say, but if there's anything
Yeah.
else you want people to know how to I mean, we did the Facebook page, and you're also on Instagram. Um,
Right.
so I will keep
Um,
in touch, and we'll have to.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And if there, like I said, if there's anything else you want me to talk about, all you gotta do is let me know, and I can always come back on another episode and talk about it, or any updates or anything like that. And I just don't want to forget anything because I keep thinking I was forgetting something, but I think we talked about just about everything. And if you get another petition going or anything like that, I will definitely share that link if you do that for people to know about, because that would also probably help, anything like that, any, petitions or any GoFundMe or anything to help out with because they really need to open the investigation, you know,
Right.
since
I
there was never an investigation, so they need to open one.
never.
Oh,
Right. And I believe I know they would have found something underneath her fingernails, and she
yes.
fought for her life in the autopsy report. And actually, my last comment, it shows how neglectful everything was. There were two autopsy reports. I don't know how they got two, but there were two of them.
Wow.
Yeah. we- Uh,
Okay.
mm,
That's
that was
strange.
another.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very strange.
And
Everything about
and I know what I was going to ask. If you Drew, if you were able to request a FOIA, the Freedom of
that
Information
is.
Act. Yeah.
Thank you. I've been trying, and no, I haven't. They said they were going to send it, and I have
Hmm.
not yet received it. I don't know what is taking so long.
You might have to.
Um,
I would say you might have to try again
I'm definitely.
on
I
that.
tried. Yeah, I'm gonna. In fact, I'm gonna try again
Yeah.
now. Yeah, when we hang up, because
Okay.
I don't know why they said it will be sent out. I filled
Hmm.
it out perfectly and all that, But that I've been waiting for, and yeah, I definitely am waiting for that. Yeah,
Okay.
that I should have, had
Right.
a long time ago. Um, and I did try that in the past, and I had a problem getting it too. So I don't understand why everything is so much of a problem with my um it seems like everything was like very had to be very quiet, and everything was like shh about it. Shh. Like there was no reporters, there was no news reporters, there was no journalists, there were no it was not on any news channel. It was nothing. There was nothing about it. And usually, that's a very popular area, Mineola on a big road. That
Yeah.
would be that would be big news, but
Mm-hmm. And
yeah,
and that's why, like I said, that's why I think it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be on any of the podcasts or anything to get out there. So,
right. I'm
you know,
willing to go
people,
on any
yeah, people need to know about
podcast
it. Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and I will send you pictures again, and I thank
Okay.
you, and I appreciate you
Oh,
for
thank you
having me.
so much for coming on and talking about this. And I'm gonna try
Thank
to get this
you.
uploaded tonight, but I'll let you know if I can get it uploaded. So, to get this
Well,
episode going. So,
oh,
thanks
thank you.
again. Thank you so much for joining me.
God bless you.
Oh,
Thank
you
you.
too. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
I want to thank everybody for joining us for this week's episode. This was episode 37. Paula Turkovich and her mother, Kathleen. Kathleen, my heart goes out to you, and I am willing to help with this in any way I can. And I just want all my listeners to know it's been a nice Friday. It is April 28th. Monday's May 1st. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. I am drinking Java Mama happy birthday, or birthday cake, sorry, birthday cake coffee. And I just wanted to let you all know that about Paula's story. So that is all for today. I will be back next week for another true crime case. Happy Friday, everybody, and have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you next time.